Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Rains this year may be disappointing. Monsoon predicted to be below average for 2015. Novel Earth system model for better climate management. India now a part of IPCC assessment. As years increase, biodiversity decreases. Red list of India now has 988 species. NASA's Open Grand Challenge. Now you can be a part of NASA's journey to Mars. In our In Focus segment today, we will see how people around the world came together to celebrate the 45th Earth Day. And now news in details. Monsoons are a much awaited phenomenon in India. But for all of us who are looking forward to relief from the scorching summer heat, the news can be a bit disappointing as the weather department has predicted below average monsoon this year due to an impact of El Nino weather pattern. Are we in for a dry spell this year? Let us see in this report.
The Indian Meteorological Department has recently predicted the occurrence of El Nino, which may reduce India's monsoon rains this year. According to the reports, there is a 35% probability of monsoon rainfall to remain below normal this season, and the rains are expected to be 93% of a long-term average. The reports have ruled out the chances of excessive rainfall this year.
Quantitatively, the monsoon seasonal rainfall is likely to be 93% of the long period average, generally called as LPA, with a model error of plus minus 5%. That there is a 35% probability of monsoon rainfall to remain below normal. That is 90 to 96% of the long period average.
The forecast of below average monsoon rains raises concern for the farmers cultivating crops such as rice, cane, soybean and cotton, which are heavily dependent on the monsoon rains. El Nino, which means little boy in Spanish, is a periodic weather phenomenon comprising warm ocean water temperatures. El Nino develops and repeats itself after a gap of about 3 to 7 years in the tropical eastern Pacific Ocean and usually lasts for about 12 to 8 months on an average. El Nino has a direct effect on the rainfall in India during monsoon. When El Nino occurs, there is a change in wind pattern that in turn reduces rainfall in the Indian subcontinent during June to September. Indian monsoon rains were hit by El Nino weather pattern in 2009, when the 4-month-long monsoon season was recorded the driest in nearly 4 decades.
Indian climate is a highly varying and unpredictable phenomenon. As evidenced by the most untimely floods and harsh summers, accurate prediction of Indian climate requires the most sophisticated technologies and most advanced climate prediction models. This now seems possible with the new Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology Earth System model. Take a look.
India now has a new climate model that meets the requirements of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change or IPCC. The Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology Earth System model, in short called IITM-ESM, is the novel climate model developed by scientists of the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, with support from the National Centre for Environmental Prediction, USA. The new model is designed to improve the long-range forecasting of the Indian summer monsoon and study the effects of climate change on the monsoon.
IITM Earth System Model is a modified version of the model developed at Centre for Climate Change Research at CCCR to address the long-term changes in the climate with a special emphasis on the monsoons.
The model can simulate long-term changes in the ocean such as the El Nino and the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, which significantly impact the Indian monsoon and enable better prediction of variations in rainfall.
The new model has shown improvements in the representation of the sea surface temperature, and also it is realistically simulating the dominant climate variabilities such as El Nino Southern Oscillation in the Pacific and its link of El Nino with Indian summer monsoon.
Unlike its previous versions, the Earth model system considers Earth, ocean and the atmosphere as a coupled system and takes into account various factors whose complex interplay affects the climate. The model is so advanced that it has equations even describing the biochemistry of the phytoplanktons in the oceans as they can heat up water and change currents. Equipped with this new Earth system model, India is now eligible to participate in the assessment of Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that evaluates the climate models adopted by each country. The development of this new climate model offers hope for better management of climate and adoption of better policy decisions in the country.
The new red list for the threatened species across the world is out. Unfortunately, India has added 15 more species to the previous list. With this, India now has 988 species which falls under threatened category. So are we slowly and steadily destroying our biodiversity as years pass by? More in this report.
There was a time when sparrows were a common sight in our backyards. But thanks to our indiscriminate and reckless development programs, these common birds are today an uncommon sight. Past years have seen ruthless destruction of numerous plants and animal species, many of which are exclusive and endemic to our country. And the result is, today, about 988 species in India fall under the red list. What is more unfortunate is the fact that as the years pass, we seem to be adding more and more species to the red list. According to the recent red list of threatened species published by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 2014, India has added 15 more species to the threatened species category. Hence, while the number of threatened species in India during 2008 was 659, and in 2013 the figure was 973. As of now, the list stands at 988. While India has added 15 species, China has added 37 species to the red list and improved India's ranking, bringing it down to the 7th position. But the fact remains that excessive habitat destruction, poaching and lack of holistic conservation approach is constantly contributing to the expanding list of threatened species in India. A recent World Bank mapping of endangered mammals show India as having the 4th largest number of threatened species in the world, 31 of them endemic to the region. Blessed with rich ecological wealth, India is one of the few world's mega-diverse countries. And if the present trend continues, the day is not far when only images will remain to remind us of the many beautiful species that once existed.
The scientists working at ISRO and NASA are unraveling the secrets of space by launching one mission after the other. Looking at their achievements, we all yearn to be part of such missions. But that is not possible without being a scientist or an astronaut. Or is it? Well, now you don't have to be a trained astronaut or scientist to be a part of the upcoming Space Odyssey. Wondering how? Let us see the report to know more.
Space travel is filled with risk and challenges, and one among them is to ensure safer space travel. As the scientists are planning to venture deeper into the space, they are looking for new ideas and technology to overcome safety hurdles. And to solve these hurdles, NASA is seeking ideas from the public in the form of a challenge. The grand challenge that holds a cash reward worth $30,000 invites the public to contribute innovative designs to protect a spacecraft's crew on the journey to Mars. Yes, NASA is gearing up to send humans to an asteroid by 2025 and to the red planet Mars in the 2030s. But the major obstacle in this mission remains the unavoidable, dangerous and devastating cosmic rays that pervade the space. These radiations, which possess very high energy and speed, cannot be stopped much by shielding and can cause extensive DNA damage to the astronauts who come in contact with them. Result is aggressive and dangerous forms of cancers, damage of the central nervous system, and ultimately death. In this context, NASA's Center of Excellence for Collaborative Innovation has invited the public to identify innovative ways of protecting the crew on the journey to Mars. The submissions can include optimal configurations of active and passive solutions to provide crew members maximum protection. Active protection uses magnetic or electrostatic fields to deflect the harmful radiation, while passive protection uses material layering to shield the crew from the harmful rays. What makes the challenge more exciting is that it is open to all. Anyone across the globe can submit his or her ideas in this contest, which will be open from 29th April to 29th June this year. To participate, log on to www.innocentive.com/pavilion/NASA and make a name for yourself in the field of space sciences.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Keep watching Science Monitor. Welcome back after the break. You're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
Researchers of Osmania University have recently discovered a new spider species from Naganur that has been named Thomisis telanganensis after Telangana. The new species resembles a crab in its sideways walk and is hence called crab spiders. These spiders are also known as flower spiders as they lie in wait for their prey on flowering plants. Unlike traditional spiders, Telangana crab spiders do not weave webs. They attack the prey subtly and immobilize it with venom. These spiders are said to be important to the ecosystem as they act as biocontrolling agents to keep the insect population under control.
According to recent reports, Melinda Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, recently called on India's Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Shri Jagat Prakash Nadda, to discuss the collaboration on expansion of India's family planning program. The discussion primarily focused on potential partnership to address India's burden of maternal and childhood malnutrition. Melinda Gates is currently on a week-long visit to India as a part of expanding the work of Gates Foundation in the country.
Salmonella, the bacteria that causes food poisoning, can now be genetically engineered to treat cancer. Researchers have identified a mutant strain of Salmonella which can shrink tumors and kill them. The genetically engineered bacteria, capable of colonizing and killing tumor cells, will neither cause any damage to normal cells nor result in food poisoning. Once approved for human trials, the investigational therapy using these engineered Salmonella would probably be used in conjunction with chemotherapy and radiation therapy, which is being presently used to treat cancer.
Following the confirmation of bird flu in Imphal, Manipur, the state machinery has started culling and burial of poultry livestock in the infected zone. The outbreak was confirmed recently by the National Institute of High Security Animal Diseases in Bhopal. It was based on a sample sent from the poultry unit of Indian Council of Agricultural Research in Imphal. Several teams of veterinary doctors and experts have been deployed to oversee the process and prevent the spread of the flu to human populations.
With changing lifestyles, junk food has increasingly become everyone's favorite, but it is also a major cause of health disorders. In order to raise awareness about the harmful effects of junk food, a program was recently organized in the capital. The program was attended by health experts and consumers' rights activists who also took part in the panel discussion called Junk Food and Health, a wake-up call organized by Consumers India.
It is our turn to lead. This was the slogan of the Earth Day this year that was celebrated across the world on 22nd of April. So what transpired across the world as millions came together to pledge the protection of our beautiful planet on this year's Earth Day? We will see in our segment in Focus today that is dedicated to the 45th Earth Day, the celebration of our home planet.
Earth, the only planet in the universe known to support life. With the perfect combination of elements, water and climatic conditions, life emerged on this blue planet about 3.8 billion years ago. Many factors, including presence of water and oxygen, ozone layer to protect from harmful radiations, perfect distance from the sun, and most importantly, a unique atmosphere and lithosphere makes Earth perfect to be the cradle of life, supporting its evolution and propagation. To honor the planet for its abundant gifts, 22nd April every year is celebrated as the Earth Day to raise awareness about the increasing degradation of the planet. Human activities in the last decades have resulted in massive depletion of the Earth's natural resources. Reckless developmental activities and industrialization have resulted in pollution of air, water and soil and stripped the Earth of its forest covers. Depletion of ozone layer, increase in global temperature, erratic changes in climatic patterns and massive crunch of resources have emerged as the aftermath of our indiscriminate exploitation of nature. It is evident that if life is to continue on Earth, it is extremely important to maintain the natural assets of the Earth. It is in this context that Earth Day is celebrated to raise the visibility of issues concerning protection of Earth and its natural resources.
ऐसे जब अर्थ डे वगैरह ये त्यौहार के रूप में मनाया जाता है तो लोगों की अवेयरनेस और जानकारी बढ़ती है, लेकिन सिर्फ अर्थ डे मनाने से पर्यावरण में सुधार आएगा ये तो आशा करना बेकार है। पर्यावरण के सुधार के लिए लोगों को अपने रोज़ाना अभ्यास में पर्यावरण के कंसर्न्स को लाने की आवश्यकता है, जैसे कि अपने घरों में, अपने वाहनों में, अपने दफ्तर में, कारखाना में, दुकानों में, इन सब जगह हमें इन्वायरमेंटली साउंड प्रैक्टिसेस लाने की ज़रूरत है।
Earth Day was founded in 1970 by United States Senator Gaylord Nelson and is today celebrated in more than 192 countries each year. Earth Day is organized by the Earth Day Network, which aims to inform and energize populations so that people around the world act to secure a healthy future for themselves and their children. While the theme of World Earth Day 2014 was Green Cities, this year's Earth Day was themed It's Our Turn to Lead. The celebration, which saw intense public participation, was aimed to bring people and nations together to create a sustainable future. As usual, many events including biking, hiking and planting trees were organized across the globe to celebrate and spread the theme of Earth Day.
हम रेफ्रिजरेटर खरीदते हैं या पंखे खरीदते हैं, इनको हमें लेबल्ड अप्लायंसेस खरीदना चाहिए, चाहे 4 स्टार लेबलिंग हो, चाहे 5 स्टार लेबलिंग हो। इससे ये होगा कि बिजली की बचाव होगी। बिजली की जब बचाव होगी तो कोयला कम जलाया जाएगा, जब कम जलाया जाएगा तो प्रदूषण कम होगा। उसी रूप में आप देखें कि हम इनकैंडिसेंट बल्ब की जगह CFL बल्ब का प्रयोग करें। फिर घरों में हम क्या कर सकते हैं? घरों में हम कंपोस्ट बना सकते हैं, जैसे कि घर का जो रसोई का जो कचरा है वो हम घड़ों में, मिट्टी के घड़ों में उसको रखें और फिर केंचुए में कुछ डालें उसमें। 3-4 हफ्ते में वो जो कचरा है वो बहुत बढ़िया कंपोस्ट बन जाएगा, जो कि हम मतलब पौधों वगैरह में लगा सकते हैं।
India also saw major public participation this year. The Earth Day Network India, along with partner groups, conducted numerous events in this context with public participation. While hundreds of people joined the Earth Day March to create awareness on environmental pollution in Visakhapatnam, students in Leh district of Jammu and Kashmir showed their commitment towards Earth by organizing a march and planting saplings. This Earth Year marked the 45th anniversary of the event. The event this year assumes more importance than ever as the harsh and drastic effects of climate change are becoming increasingly visible all over the world, and nations around the world are realizing the need for collective efforts to tackle the problem. It is indeed our turn to lead the collective fight against degradation of environment. We all may come from various places, but then we all have only one home, Earth.
And what are the contributions of science to this week's history? We shall learn in our next segment, History of Science.
World's worst nuclear power plant accident in terms of cost and casualties occurred on 26 April 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The accident was caused by a sudden and unexpected power surge leading to the rupture of a reactor vessel. The explosion and fire released large quantities of radioactive particles into the atmosphere, which spread over much of the western USSR and Europe and caused many deaths and led to cancers in the surviving generations. Samuel Finley Breese Morse, the famous American inventor and painter, was born on 27 April 1791. Morse is credited with the invention of a single-wire telegraph system and co-developing Morse code. Morse code, which is a method of transmitting text information as a series of on-off tones, lights or clicks, has helped the development of commercial telegraphy. Nikola Tesla was awarded the first US patent for brushless alternating current induction motor based on a rotating magnetic field principle on 1st May 1888. Tesla was a Serbian-American inventor, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, and physicist. Considered one of the world's greatest discoveries, an induction motor is an electric motor which works using AC current. Most of the motors used in today's machineries are AC induction motors. The discovery of Van Allen radiation belts that surround Earth was reported by James Van Allen at the University of Iowa on 1st May 1958. The Van Allen radiation belt, named after its discoverer, is one of the two layers of energetic charged particles called plasma that surround the Earth. The belts extend from an altitude of about 1,000 to 60,000 kilometers above the surface. The belts contain energetic electrons that form the outer belt and a combination of protons and electrons that form the inner belt. The belt is held in place around the Earth by the Earth's magnetic field. These belts are known to be a threat to the sensitive components of satellites.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific.